Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another episode of WumpaTime. My name is Canadian Guy A, and I am joined by the one and the only Shempers.
I'm sure there's more than one. Hi, everybody.
I mean, there's a Dr. Shemp. There's probably a Mr. Shemp.
There's Three Stooges Shemp. I get confused with that a lot.
Yeah, whenever I type in your channel, I always see you and then Three Stooges.
Yeah, if you go to incognito and look me up, it's only Three Stooges and then me in the middle, my channel icon in the middle of it.
It's like Three Stooges, Spyro, myself. So,
sick.
Awesome. So we're going to dive into a few pieces of quick news, which is going to stem off into other things because, Nintendo being the consumer-friendly company that they are, because that's what they're known for, right? That's what they're known for. They're known for...
they've never done anything bad.
No, they've never left Breath of the Wild still at $69.99 or $59.99, wherever you are.
What was that? Did you say Mario Kart? Oh, my bad. Yeah, I think you said Mario Kart.
Mario Kart. The Black Friday deal. I remember last year. Do you know what the Black Friday deal was for Breath of the Wild? It was $5.
$5 off?
Off.
Yeah, off. Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, you see, some people thought $5. And they're like, no, it's $5 off.
Did you see the announcement where Nintendo said that they had a shareholders meeting about they have a 12-hour meeting about if they could survive if they sold Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze for less than $60. Like everyone's in the board meeting like, oh my god, can we afford this?
Can we afford this? Yeah, I mean, Crash Bandicoot's already on for their Black Friday deal was 35%
like $30. It's $30.
Like a month later. So I mean, if Activision can afford it, Nintendo, I'm sure you can as well, being the biggest Japanese game company in the world. But I digress. So, everyone knows Smash Brothers.
What?
And yep, Smash Brothers. So there has been tournaments, obviously, and it ranges from Ultimate to 4 and all this stuff, but I would argue that probably one of the longest lasting or one of the biggest Smash tournaments is Melee, or Melee, however you want to pronounce it. That's just been one that's been around for such a long time. That's just something that a lot of people usually are drawn to. You don't see too many 64, and you don't see a lot of the one that came out with the 3DS and the Wii U, the Smash Bros. Wii U. You don't see that one too much. But you see a lot of Ultimate and Melee. Those are like the two that you see a lot.
Yeah, because Melee started the whole competitive scene in Smash, whereas 64 was more of a party game rather than a fighting game.
Yeah. So anyway, Nintendo found out that there was a group of people who were hosting a event for Melee, which is, perfectly fine. Now, there might be some details I'm missing here, so I might need you to fill me in with this, Shemp. So...
Yes.
They canceled a massive event for Smash Brothers Melee. They dropped a DMCA, a cease and desist. They stopped the whole thing. Because of the use of
not just
called... Yeah, go ahead.
Not just Melee, like the entire thing, which had other Smash games.
Great. That's even
all
better.
of it.
All of it. Not just the Melee tournament, the whole tournament. So I didn't know that this tournament was actually hosting multiple Smash tournaments within themselves. That's actually really interesting. So because of a mod called Slippy. Now, can you explain to everybody what Slippy is and the little details that I'm missing here?
So essentially, Slippy is just the name for this a mod that you would put into Melee to make the net play more smooth. So net play is just what Dolphin uses for over the internet, just multiplayer. You would connect to, it's peer-to-peer. It's not the greatest. So Slippy is made specifically for tournaments because obviously we have a pandemic. So we made this mod really, really helps keep people isolated. So what they did is, you would be emulating Melee, you would have this mod installed, yada yada yada, and then they would stream it. And keep in mind this tournament is called the Big House. They're massive, they're huge. And Nintendo said, hey, don't do this? And they said, well, we kind of have to, you know, hence the pandemic that we're in. So Nintendo was like, I hear, I'm picking up what you're putting down, but I'm putting it back down. Here's a DMCA. Can you pick that up for me? So the entire thing just got shut down because they wanted to stay safe.
Yeah, that's... Wow. I don't think I've... So Nintendo's argument here is that they are arguing that they are using... Was it illegal? It's illegal emulation.
Yeah, they said illegal emulation.
Now, we know Nintendo loves emulation. We know that they...
Oh, yeah.
Man, it's not like that they've shut down countless sites for, downloading ISOs and stuff like that. But the funny thing is, and this is something that I feel like Nintendo needs to brush themselves up on, emulation is legal. 100%.
Yes, it is. You're
nothing wrong
you're not
with it.
selling or distributing it. You're emulating the product.
Right. Because I've done it before, where you take your PS1 disc and you throw it in your disk drive and you can rip it into an ISO and then play it on your computer. That is 100% legal. That is okay because it is just a different method of playing the same product. There's no difference. Okay. It would be literally like as if I bought a drink with a plastic straw. The plastic straw is destroyed, so I replaced it with a metal straw.
Yeah, you're substituting something with your own things.
Exactly.
Like I'm purchasing the software. I don't have the hardware, but my PC can emulate the hardware, so I can play that. This was a big thing in, not to self-promote, but whenever I did the video on Crash Bandicoot on the Sega Dreamcast, I brought up the company called Bleem, whose thing essentially was they were selling an emulator. Now that's a little more dicey, but before they were doing that, they just had an emulator on PC that could emulate PS1 games. This was back in like 1997 or something.
Yeah.
And that was fine because they weren't selling it at the time.
Right.
And then they started selling it. And that's illegal because you're selling an emulation of a competitor. You can't do that.
Yeah, you can't do that. But Dolphin is not, Dolphin is free. It's 100% free. And then Nintendo comes in and says no and shuts it all down. And the thing is that I'm sure that the big house could go to court for it, but I am for bloody certain that Nintendo would just gut their money and then they'd just be left at a lockout, and one runs out of money. The big house people who run it would run out of money, and that's it.
Yeah. And let's see. So a spokesperson said, quote, "Unfortunately, the upcoming Big House tournament announced plans to host an online tournament for Smash Bros. Melee that requires use of illegally copied versions of the game in conjunction with a mod called Slippy during their online event. Nintendo therefore contacted the tournament organizers to ask them to stop. They rebutted, saying, hey, we kind of can't. And then Nintendo started with their oh, you're pirating our IP. So I guess they could confirm. Like, you could argue, we confirmed with the people participating that they own a copy of Smash Brothers. That's
it. So, all you do is that you sign a permission form that literally, a permission form. I need to go to the school. No. Shit, I don't know why I thought permission form, but basically a contract that says, I understand and I own a copy of this game, right? And if they need to show photo evidence or whatever the case need be, because I'm almost certain that every single one of these people that play competitive Smash all own a copy of Melee. I am at least 99% of them do. And you just prove that, hey, I have a copy. Here's the copy. Now you are using your legal copy on a legal emulator over online. And the thing is that, and this is something that I never understood with Nintendo, is that it's just free promotions for their game. That's all it is.
Yeah, and people making these fan games and stuff, that's exposing the IP more and more. But
Exactly.
This free fan game could somehow destroy our potential sales. Like, no, they're completely different. Nintendo hired this man. That's a meme for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. And this is stuff that really frustrates me about Nintendo is they're very, very, very anti-consumer, and something that bugs me a lot. That really does bug me. Like, okay, these just because I have it in my hand, I have the PlayStation 5 DualSense. Okay, this thing has so much more technology jam-packed into this thing than both of those Joy-Cons combined. Yet it's cheaper than the Joy-Cons.
That is true. Yeah.
How does that
I haven't
work?
thought about that yet.
Yeah, how does that work? That with the how can Nintendo turn around and sell their Joy-Cons at that price, and not just sell them at that price, but then because that's something about Nintendo that bugs me all the time is those Joy-Con prices. It's on my mind all the time, and I hate it.
I would say Nintendo is like the Apple of the gaming industry, because like
100%.
You're paying for the name. Like, it doesn't matter how inferior the product is, you're paying for the name.
Exactly, and you get access to all these wonderful exclusives. Now the thing is that Nintendo produces amazing games. Don't get me wrong, but it like, and this is something that I feel that a lot of people think that people think that who can criticize Nintendo, oh, you're bad and you're stupid for criticizing one of the gaming giants in the world. Nintendo is different, blah 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 blah, etc etc. Here's the problem: is that you can produce amazing products and still be scummy.
Yeah.
Right. And that is what I think Nintendo is being like. How long did it take from? I love how they acknowledged Joy-Con drift and then they just stopped acknowledging it. Right. Like,
yeah, they're like, oh yeah, there was never a problem.
Yeah, they're like, okay, we understand that there seems to be some issues, and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh wait, no, there's no issues. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. No.
What are you talking about? Yeah, what's going on?
Exactly. So, speaking of issues,
yeah,
segue. Let's
you're gonna be taking the helm on this one.
Yeah, I'm taking the helm on this one because this is one where I'm like, So, the Xbox Series X. Now, we have criticized both companies actually now, and I love the comment section or in the premiere, there's nothing but a PlayStation fanboys. Nope, it's not PlayStation fanboys. We both love gaming, but if we both love gaming, we both love both consoles. That means that you got to be critical on both.
Yeah,
and Xbox has been on our radar recently, so I have been doing some testing. You guys probably have already, if you guys haven't, go check it out. Shameless plug. Where I put Insane Trilogy PlayStation 5 versus Xbox Series X on the PlayStation, on the Xbox Series X. So Xbox Series X versus PlayStation 5 on Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. To see which one performed better, which one played better, which one did this, which one did that, etc., etc., etc. Well, there was something that I noticed on the Xbox Series X side that was very interesting. I had noticed that the image was washed out. Now, I thought it was my eyes. I was like, does this seem a little bit washed out? I wasn't sure until I brought it into Adobe Premiere and I dropped my PlayStation 5 footage right beside my Xbox footage, and it was. Like, and the best test for that was at the start. You know how when you boot up Crash or Spyro, you get the Activision introduction? Well, their background is black, right? Well,
yeah.
I was looking at the black on the PlayStation side, and it was black. It was true black. And then I looked at Xbox, and it was gray. It was a dark, smoky gray.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just like, what is happening here? And I did a check just to make sure. And I did like an A/B where I layered it on top of each other, and yeah, it was brighter, but not in a good sense. Not like a brighter, more vibrant. It was like washed out. So I did I showed a lot of comparisons, and then I tried in there. I looked and I saw there was a thing to Xbox has in their settings auto HDR, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was enabled, so I disabled it. It didn't change my image. So then I re-enabled it again, tried the game. it didn't change my image. Now, I'll tell you guys, I'm playing on a 4K 60Hz monitor that is not HDR capable. So this might be different for your monitor or TV if it is HDR capable. I don't know.
It's not very clear.
Yeah, it's not, we don't know. But here's the thing, is that I thought it was me. I looked online, and my buddy did too, and people have been reporting stuff that has been washed out, from Netflix to gaming to the menu itself, whatever it is, and it's driving me insane. It drives me
Yeah,
nuts.
I remember you were messaging me, but you're about to have like an aneurysm because of this.
Yeah, and the thing is that when you got games like Spyro that are happy and bright, it becomes too much bright. And it's too much bright. And apparently, from what we're kind of coming down to is that the Xbox kind of shift in the firmware kind of shipped with, I suppose, a factory defect or something wrong with the firmware, and there hasn't been an update to my knowledge since. Nothing at all. And you've seen this too.
I mean, that's like the second thing that we've not really of a defect, because I think we talked about it last podcast, but not being able to play Xbox One games, I think, offline, that was intentional. People thought it was a glitch, but it was intentional. So this would be considered the first like defect.
Yeah. This is something that's a bit more like, this is not intentional. And I don't know why. Now, this is something else that drives me nuts, is that they're like, okay, if you want to change the settings, you have to change the settings of your monitor. It's like, but why?
What? Why? Why do I have to go that extra length for your console?
Exactly. Because if my monitor is calibrated and it's fine, and my PlayStation plays fine on it, and everything on my PC plays fine on it, but then I have to change my monitor around the Xbox, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that means like, oh, it's actually your fault. Like, no, that's not us, dude.
Yeah, no, exactly. And the thing is that it actually tells you that. It says, okay, you want to it says calibrate your monitor. I click it, it's like, okay, now play with your saturation settings. Go ahead.
I need you to fix your settings, because if your PS5 looks like garbage after you fix it for us, then you don't want to play with that PS5, right? You want something that looks good.
Right, exactly. And it begs the question, why don't these consoles have like contrast and saturation settings set with inside of them? What's the problem with that?
I assume because the games are already tailored to a specific saturation, so like you tampering with it is going to mess up like the game developer's vision. But I mean, if your TV is already set like that, then who really cares?
Yeah, but also too, like, you have to think of people with accessibility issues, right? Like some games some games don't come with accessibility options, right? Which is one of the things I love in Crash 4, is the accessibility options for color blindness is really nice. And that's something that I've become more aware of. I became a lot more aware of when Medieval did it. Do you remember the accessibility?
Yeah, Medieval was the big one. I remember that one.
Yeah, I remember seeing that, and I remember sitting there. I was like, oh my gosh, that is something that is amazing, because I've played games that have colorblind mode, and it's one setting. That's it.
Yeah.
Right? But
Medieval had like, what, 8?
Yeah, it was like a whole slew, and you could choose like how much of a filter to put on it for how strong.
Yeah, how colorblind are you?
Yeah, no, exactly. That's exactly right. And it is, and I thought that was amazing. And Crash implemented that too. Crash also implemented a very similar feature, and I'm very, very, very happy to see stuff like that. But the thing is that some games, or some backwards compatible games, they just don't have them. They just don't. Crash Insane doesn't have that. Spyro Reignited only has subtitles. It didn't have anything else, right? There's all these games that weren't up to par with accessibility, because granted, developers back then maybe weren't as aware as it is today, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it just be easier to put it on the console so that when you boot something up, all your
it automatically does it in game?
Yeah. Like, why not?
Yeah, I'm sure. Like, I know PlayStation was really heavy into accessibility options with their games, because I know Uncharted was pretty big into it. Mm-hmm. Last of Us 2, the accessibility options in Last of Us 2 are so deep that you could consider them cheat codes if you don't have to use them, because it It's insane. Last of Us 2 is the most heavy. Yeah, it's the most heavy hitter in terms of accessibility.
Yep.
Because you can turn on and off literally anything.
Yeah, exactly.
You can turn the graphics off if you wanted to.
Yeah, the amount of accessibility options is actually like ridiculous. And what was cool was I saw a blind gamer actually play through The Last of Us Part 2, and he was crying for the majority of it because he was actually able to play the game. He was actually able to go through, and that was something that was really cool to see. So the idea that there's no way to adjust even the saturation and contrast as a broad stroke across the consoles is something that I think that is really should be looked at. I think that is something that,
oh yeah,
because the thing is that people think, oh yeah, but people can use it to cheat. It's like, but the only person that they're cheating are themselves, because
yeah,
right, the game, right?
That's fair. Yeah,
that's about it, right? Speaking of being cheated, are you a fan of Cyberpunk?
No. Stop asking me. You ask me every day in the DMs. Oh my god. Okay, so before we go any further, did you see what this topic is about? Did you see the content?
Oh, I saw the content of the IGN graphical comparison.
Oh, dude, did you see, like, yeah, the insult to injury was like, this was straight from the CD Projekt Red team.
Oh,
this wasn't even like a journalist. This was a video they made, hosted, and put on their channel. So, okay, so
let's give context.
Okay, yes, Cyberpunk 2077. They put out a graphics showcase because everyone wants to know what's going on. So they did a graphics comparison between the Xbox One and the Xbox Series X, but not any Xbox One, just the One X. They did not show any One S footage or VCR Xbox One footage. You want to know why? Because it looks like garbage.
Wow. So yeah, that was the light reflections are pretty off the neon lights.
Okay, listen. Listen, okay. Both, first off, I wanted to scream. First off, you can't do a graphics comparison and don't compare graphics. You show one scene on the One X, and then you show a completely different scene on the Series X. Like, look how pretty it is. It looks so much like, you can't show us a dark alleyway on the One X and then a neon strip club on the Series X and like, look at all these lights. Oh, it looks so much better. No, it doesn't. You're an idiot. So okay, this is probably controversial. What I've been watching the footage over and over and over. It looks the same on both consoles. It looks almost identical. The only difference is that the lights flare up a little bit. I swear, if you go to the scene whenever the character walks into, I think, the bar area, you see the bartender behind the counter, his shadows on his model just pop in whenever they walk near them. Like, there is visible pop in on the Series X.
Oh.
Did you see Keanu Reeves? Here's Keanu Reeves. I'm just going to say
Johnny Silverarm looks like he's...
What happened to Johnny Bronzearm? And then here's Series X Keanu Reeves. You see the difference? I don't.
It's the same. Why? Hold on.
It's the same.
Full stop. Why does this look like Adam Driver with a mustache? This does not look like... This looks like Kylo Ren with a mustache. What? This doesn't look...
No, it doesn't, and I'm sorry for the viewers because they can't see this, but I have to show you to get to the point. Here's the bartender when they walk in, and then after a couple seconds when they walk forward, here's all the shadows.
So, Shemp, can you remind me, when did they announce this game? Please remind me.
2013.
2013.
2013. It has been delayed more times than Uncharted 4, and that was a lot.
Dude. Okay. Let me just breathe here. So,
yeah,
apparently...
let's get some oxygen back in our brain.
Seriously. Okay, so, now, to my knowledge, from what I had heard when I read the comments of that graphical comparison, because, I mean, woo! Johnny Silverarm does not look very healthy.
No, he looks a little rough.
He's looking rough. If you guys haven't seen it, go to IGN, look it up, go check it. It's bad. It is not good. So, Cyberpunk 2077. My brain is literally short-circuiting on this because I keep just looking over and seeing Johnny Silverarm, and my brain's just like, how? That's all that's just blurring out in my head is just the word how.
And you know what's insane to think. They've been delaying this game because they've been saying that it's struggling to run on the current gen, or technically the last gen hardware.
Yeah. When
it started out as a last gen title,
exactly,
and it looks like a last gen title.
Dude, 2013. Wait, hold the phone. When did the PlayStation? Didn't the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One launch in 2013? Or 2012?
Yes. Let me double check this real fast.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk 2077 initial announcement. What was it? 2012.
No.
Okay. Initially announced in 2012, Cyberpunk 2077 has yet to release. Okay. Yes, it was. Okay. It was announced in May 2012.
Okay, and when did the next gen consoles come out? Or no, sorry, last gen. Last
gen. Okay. PS4 release date. Let's get the exact date on here. November 15th, 2013. You have got to be kidding me.
So, at the end of the PlayStation 3 cycle, that's a word I haven't said in a long time. PlayStation 3 cycle and the Xbox 360, Cyberpunk was announced. It has, through development, through the entire generation that it was supposed to come out for.
Yeah, it skipped a generation.
It pulled a Kingdom Hearts on us. But this is worse.
You want to know what's crazy to think?
What?
In the midst of Cyberpunk existing, The Witcher 3 was started and finished. And it released in 2015 by the same team. Dude, I cannot wait for the garbage fire that is Cyberpunk when it gets released. Oh my god.
Dude, okay. Positivity here for a second. Positivity. Apparently, they're releasing the next gen versions of this game the next year. I think.
What? Oh, wait, hold on. Okay. Now I gotta do some more digging.
Okay.
Okay. Cyberpunk 2077 PS5 release date.
So that's what I heard. I might be wrong. So.
Okay.
But there's no.
I can't.
But there's no release date. They haven't announced it when.
No, they just know that current gen is releasing December allegedly. Because guess what? You want to know what's funny? I don't know if this is true, but apparently there's been some talks behind the scenes that it might get delayed again because because if you go to the CD Projekt Red Twitter page, they removed the December date from their bio. And a lot of insiders are like, yeah, I've been hearing, like, first it was like, yeah, I've been hearing that they're going to delay it again. And everyone's like, no, they can't be. And then they removed it from their bio, and now it's just dead silent. Let me again, I'm going to double check. Let me go to their Twitter right now.
Oh my god.
Yeah, all it says is an open world action game story developed by CD Projekt Red. Okay, never mind. In the banner says December 10th. Okay. They almost had me there. I was about to lose it.
Okay, good. So they're more locked down than they were. So December 10th. Okay. So December 10th is 3 weeks away approximately? Or 2.5?
Yeah, okay. By the time this comes out, it'll be 2 weeks.
Okay. So, there's no way they can cancel it again. There's no way.
No. There's absolutely no way. And if they delay it again, I will lose it, dude. Just cancel the game. It is not worth it. The amount of money you have spent. Hold on. Let me get my calculator out real fast.
Here's my question too. So while you're calculating, when did they start development of this game? Okay, because I mean the
2012.
Because the first and obvious answer is that they announced this game way too early. Like, they announced
Hey
this
guys,
thing,
here's our plan. Okay, we'll see you next generation.
basically, like, you don't announce a game. Like, okay, I don't like when they announce games and it takes 5 years for it to come out.
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring, seriously. but man, I thought StarCraft was bad. But you see, at least StarCraft, what they did was that they decided to say, okay, there was a lot of hype here. Let's expand it into 3 games. And then those releases were fairly, like, short.
Which is what The Witcher did. The Witcher came out, and then, like, 3 DLCs came out.
Right. So it's like, okay, I can understand the delay because they're like, okay, we are literally scrapping the game and we're rebuilding it from the ground up to make it longer and better for you guys. And it took like 8 years from the announcement for it to come out. But then the second game came out like a year and a half to 2 years later. Then the third game came out. I was like, boom, boom, boom. It was done. I was like, okay.
Done. Yeah, look at all this StarCraft content coming out.
And it's still going. People are still playing StarCraft.
Like, yeah, I know. I am.
yeah. StarCraft 1 and 2, both are still being played very well. Cyberpunk, this is the same game.
This is the same game that's been in development for 8 years. Can you imagine the financial loss this is going to have? I told you that they're trying to release the game on what? Did I say 7 SKUs? And to detail those, that's PS4, Xbox One, PS5, Xbox Series X, PC, Google Stadia. Okay, 6 SKUs. And to be fair, they're like, yeah, we got to test all these SKUs. You've had 8 years to test it.
8 years. I can understand games taking a long time. If there's one thing to take away from all this, one single fact that
don't buy Cyberpunk.
Other than that, no. There's one objective fact here. One. And I don't think because people can argue and debate with whether or not the game is going to be good or not, and they can argue and debate all these things. Here, I'm going to say this, and I don't think there's one person that maybe has dedicated their entire living to this game coming out. They announced this game way, way, way too early.
Yes, do not announce anything unless you have something to show.
Yeah, way too early. Here's my big thing, my big rules about games. I don't like seeing a trailer for a game until minimum, like at the most 2 years. At the most.
Yep.
The perfect time is a year. 1 year. 1 year is a good sizzle time. That's a nice, okay. 1 year, then 3 months go by, and then you bring hype back up and say, hey, it's 9 months. And then you hit the 6 month mark, and then you build the marketing from there, and you really push it, do great. The marketing for this game, it's just like, gosh, it was like Watch Dogs Legion. Every single time I saw a Ubisoft Connect E3 or whatever they want to call it, they're showing, and they showed off Watch Dogs Legion, I actually wanted to stab myself.
Yeah, and guess what? It apparently, from all of the returns and trades we've had at work, guess what? It's the same game.
It's like,
wow, who would have thought?
Like, for me, it was just like, I was like, man, I can't wait. And Jordan Fringe actually said this, and I agreed. I actually said it, to personal friends as well, and then Jordan said it perfect. It was like, yeah, I agree 100%. He said, I can't wait for Watch Dogs Legion to come out so I can stop hearing about it.
Oh my God, yes. And you know what I can't wait to come out so I can stop hearing about it?
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
Let me think here. So we're going to transition to something that's very, very interesting. So if you like delays like Cyberpunk, then you might just be interested in the once Titan, now on shaky ground, Halo.
Oh, yeah.
So what's in the news?
Halo.
What's in the news of Halo today? I'll tell you what the news is. You know what the news is? Nothing. There's been nothing.
Nothing. And you want to know what was sad to see? I went to Target the other day and I saw all of the shippers and the displays for the Xbox Series X, and all of them had Master Chief on them.
Where's the chief? He ain't here.
Yeah, it's where's Chief?
Where's the chief? Where's the chief, ma'am?
Finland. Oh, okay. Yes. Halo. MIA. What's the name of the the World of Warcraft looking guy?
Oh man,
Grunt. What is it?
What was his name? Craig.
It was Craig. Yeah, it was Craig.
We almost forgot about Craig. That's how long it's been. So, 343 came out. You know what they said? Yeah, we'll give you more information soon. That's it. That's what they said.
Okay. You know what CD Projekt Red said about Cyberpunk? Yeah, it'll come out soon.
Soon.tm. Now, here's my biggest gripe about Halo. Now, you might be wondering why. You know, the game was delayed. Why are you complaining? I'll tell you why I'm complaining. The game was initially slated to come out a week and a half ago. Originally.
Yep.
And when the first gameplay trailer came out and people were criticizing it, right? I remember watching a video of there was a live Q&A with I can't remember his name. Alex Aaron. I can't remember the guy's name. He was the guy.
He had two first names.
No. I know it started with the letter A. I know that it was like Aaron Davis. Maybe I can't remember the guy's name. But it was Alana Pierce was having a live Q&A after they showed off Halo in that Xbox Live event, and they showed off Halo, and there was a live Q&A, and the chat was screaming the same thing, and she was reluctant to ask the question, but she did anyway, so props to her, was why did Halo Infinite look so bad? Why did it look like garbage? And he was saying, well, he's like, well, games are still in development, and of course, improvements need to happen. We have a long way to go to November, but I think it looks great. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I mean,
listen, man, I just dusted off the shiny old Xbox, the original one. We're in 2005, right? That is amazing.
And the thing is that all the Xbox executives, I think, except for Phil Spencer, which good on him, all doubled down and were acting like, have you not seen a masterpiece? Are you not appreciative of this wonderful work that 343 has put into this game? Do you not see the graphics? Do you not see the ray tracing? Literally, this game is coming out.
Where is it?
Do you not see the graphics?
Can you point?
No. Point to me where these graphics are.
As you can see right there, I see some ray tracing.
And the worst part, I think the biggest kick to me was when they showed off the gameplay preview and then they said, okay, we're going to show multiplayer in a few months.
That's just kidding.
Okay. Lol, JK.
Got you.
Gotcha. So then like 2 weeks later, they announced, said, yeah, we're delaying the game. And then the executives are like, oh, yeah, smart decision. Yeah, great job. I'm like, were you not just like attacking people for saying that the game kind of looks like it's not ready? Were you not just attacking people and like,
can you imagine like
pounding
have
your
you
chest?
Not seen? This game looks amazing. You're just stupid. Hey, we're going to delay the game. Yeah, good. It looked like garbage. I'm glad you you made a good move.
Yeah, it's like, okay, Halo Infinite's getting delayed. Halo who? Like, that's how they treated it. That's how and it's so frustrating. Like, how can they? And then they got the gall. To I'm looking at my Series X box right now. Just the box, not the actual Xbox. Just marketing. Just the box. And on the back it says "Power Your Dreams" with Master Chief on it, and I don't got the Chief.
All I can do is dream of him.
Power your dreams. Not yet, though.
Yeah, you gotta wait a little bit. Now, the fun part is what's going on behind the scenes. Have you heard about this?
343 has been an equivalent of a dumpster fire.
Dude, it is insane that this company is still quote unquote afloat because of, like, for those of you who don't know, when Halo Infinite was announced and they were putting it all in, and they were like, The thing is, they were dropping and hiring and dropping directors left and right. So for a solid, 2 years, Halo Infinite had no direction. And the thing is, Microsoft had no idea. They were just a higher up big business dudes that looked at 343 and they were like, yeah, make the Halo. And then they left. That's it. They just left. And 343 was like, all right, let's make the Halo. So they're working on these game mechanics and it's like, okay, it looks pretty cool. Hey, do we have the finalized specs for the Xbox? Nope. All right, I guess I'll just keep guessing. So they design these things, and out of all the time that they put in there, there's no campaign, there's no story, there's no director, there's no nothing, and the game shipped. What was that? Tomorrow? Oh, okay. I'll start working on the campaign today. That's the thing. They kept saying, "Oh, we're gonna show the multiplayer because that's all that they could do."
Yeah.
And that gameplay snippet that we saw, the only one that we saw, where it had like the PS2 mountains where it just stretched geometry up into the sky. That was made in like a week. Like that wasn't even part of the campaign. They were like, "Hey, we're gonna show part of the campaign." What campaign? Oh God!
Really?
All right. We're just gonna put together this one scene, record some voice acting, just plop it in there. That's why whenever they were like transitioning from one area to the next, the game would just freeze and stutter. Like whenever he was going up on the elevator, it would just stop, and then it would load back in, and then the sun was like, there it is. There's the sun.
So now here's the thing that I find funny too, is that since the delay, if I'm correct, if I counted correct, they have dropped and rehired 3 different directors.
Yep.
Did I count right?
And
3?
Yes, 3. And out of all 3 of those directors, not one of them started a campaign.
This is, but here's the thing. They said, yeah, we're going to show multiplayer in later down the line. If that's all you have, just show that.
Just show it. Yeah, dude. They said, the thing is, they said, hey, before it was delayed, they were like, hey, Halo Infinite's going to release first with the campaign, and then we're going to launch the multiplayer later, if I remember correctly. And everyone was like, okay, that's weird, but
yeah.
All right. I'm sure the campaign's going to be like 2 hours long, and guess what? It may have been 2 hours long, but this game is destined to fail. It doesn't matter if they hire the best director in the world in its current state, with them not saying, hey, we're just going to start like Nintendo with Metroid Prime 3,
which we got to give
4.
credit to for Nintendo, because we got to give credit for
that.
They just said restart.
Yeah, they said, hey, the company that we had working on this, it didn't meet our standards, so we're hiring Retro Studios again to come back and do the Metroid Prime 4 that we wanted from Metroid Prime, so we're restarting development. And everyone was like, oh, that sucks, but okay. And that was like, what, 4 years ago?
Yeah. So I also, if I remember correctly, I watched a few videos about Halo Infinite. One of them was from like Review Tech USA and a few other channels. And from what I've collected, now, of course, there might be hearsay woven in between here, but originally they were supposed to be running Halo Infinite on the Unreal Engine. Originally.
Yep. And then they were like, no.
Then they went
use
back
our
to
engine.
The Slipspace or Slipstream,
Slippy. They use Slippy
Slippy.
for Halo Infinite.
Slippy. Oh, that's why Nintendo pulled it.
Nintendo is like,
Halo.
Xbox, don't you dare.
Yeah, that's what happened. It's the Slipstream, Slipspace. Chat's probably correcting me. We'll just call it the Slipstream. They used that engine on Halo 5, I think. It was the same engine. So they were trying to make it Unreal. And from what I heard, they wanted to be so open world that their target was that you would be able to travel a lot, like on the ring. Like you could drive. Like if you hopped in a Warthog and you drove straight, you would eventually get back to where you were. And it would be like a whole world on the ring.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. That's not what Halo's about, right?
Not really.
Has Halo always just been like the linear campaign?
Yeah, Halo's always been linear campaign. There was a bit of a different campaign for ODST, which was very refreshing. You weren't a Spartan, but it was still fairly linear.
But the gameplay structure was linear. That's like if they announced a new Uncharted game and it was like, hey, you can go anywhere. You can get in your Jeep and then drive to Kentucky just because it's Uncharted. Check it.
Now, I 100% am behind trying new things. I am big time, because would I like to see an open world Halo?
No,
I'm mixed on it. And here's why: is that the Halo rings are supposed to be not necessarily crazy inhabited, and the thing is that I would feel like if it would just be you driving on the ring, shooting grunts and elites, getting to your waypoint, doing a mission, getting out, hopping back in your Warthog, rinse and repeat.
So this is effectively turning into Borderlands.
Kind of.
It's just becoming a looter shooter.
And I don't think that works. I feel like that there should be, if you're going to do an open world type aspect for Halo, you need to have it take place on a world that's more lively and has more life to it and story. You can't just turn around and throw someone on a ring, on the Halo ring, and say, okay, have at it.
All right, have at it.
Yeah, like there's open world, and then there's like, you're going to get the Mass Effect Andromeda effect where you just get on these empty planets full of nothing but anything that you see are bad guys, and that's it. And I want Halo Infinite to do great. Let me be clear. I used to be a massive Halo fan. I played till my thumbs broke off on Halo Reach. I am not kidding you. I had controller thumbsticks get destroyed. Not because I smashed it, just because of how much I played Halo Reach.
I think they could have benefited from using Unreal because, I mean, with the new consoles, Unreal technology is only getting better. Final Fantasy VII, I still can't believe that's running on Unreal 5 or Unreal 4 because of how good those models look.
Yeah.
But I understand, we want to use our own engine because it's ours and it's more impressive. But, Activision stopped using Alchemy for a reason.
Yep.
Unreal is way easier to optimize, and it just works out of the box.
Yeah.
You might as well embrace that. Every other studio is working on Dude, Sackboy runs on Unreal.
Does it really?
Yeah, that's an Unreal game.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I believe so. If you have the box, I believe on the back of the box it says Unreal Engine.
Actually, I do got the box here. Hold on.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong.
Let me see. Sumo, Ultra Blu-ray. I'm not seeing Unreal on the back here. I'm seeing Sumo. I might be wrong.
Yeah. Just Sackboy. I swear I thought it was PS5. But yeah, it's Unreal 4. Yeah, it's Unreal 4.
It is Unreal 4. Wow, that is.
Okay, what about I think Demon Souls is as well.
Demon Souls as well, eh? Well, yeah. If Demon Souls.
Oh no, that's Blue Point's engine. Never mind, that's Blue Point's.
Yeah. Blue Point has their own engine, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they use it for Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, this is what I mean. Is that I understand that wanting to use a proprietary engine, I get that, but same token of time, whatever it is no one's going to care what. At the end of the day, if Spyro looked the way it did on the Alchemy engine, I wouldn't care. I don't care if we found out if Spyro was made on the Potato engine. If it looks good, if it looks good, then I will play it, or I would want to play it. I don't care what engine it's on. And for Microsoft to turn around and be like, hey, we want to use our engine. Okay, why?
See, that other people need to realize that other companies switching to Unreal Engine is because having your own engine also costs a lot of money, because you always have to make sure that it's constantly updated for the new consoles, and the new consoles are always updating their firmware, so you have to make sure that it runs on that firmware. Or you could just use an already established engine that's getting updated constantly and just work on it. And you don't have to dump any money into the engine other than the license, and that's it. That's probably far cheaper than do that. Like Alchemy, from what I understand, Crash Insane wasn't supposed to even work on the Switch, and then some guy was like, "Hey, I got it to work," and they were like, "Oh, okay, all right, let's put it on the Switch."
Yeah, exactly. Now here's the thing. Here's the thing: is that if you have your own proprietary engine, you know what that also means? You need to hire people alone to maintain just the engine and program it. And it needs to have its own maintenance team. The thing is that if you get the Unreal Engine, the team is already at the Epic Studios. They're maintaining the engine. They have an entire team dedicated, a bigger team than anybody could probably hire or would want to hire for their own proprietary engine, dedicated to maintaining Unreal's compatibility with all the current gen consoles. When there's a new firmware update come out, they already have a thing ready. They can come out with a whole bunch of different stuff and you're ready to go. And of course, it's open source, so you can have people be able to create new aspects within Unreal. You can create new things. You can reverse engineer. You can create your own this, that, and the other in Unreal. That's possible.
And people also need to realize that this is a byproduct from the generations prior, because before Unreal, there were engines that were like Unreal that developers could use, and it was already established to work on every console, and that's why people used it. One of the big ones back in the day was called Renderware, and a lot of the licensed games like SpongeBob worked on it. All the licensed games used it because it was just easy. You know, you load it up and it's like, all right, here are the consoles, it works, now just make the game. But there were also a lot of problems because they just weren't optimized. Every game wasn't automatically optimized. One of the most notorious examples was Sonic Heroes, because it was made for the GameCube and the Xbox, and then they were like, hey, pop it on the PS2. Okay, and then the renderware just decided, you know what, I don't feel like really working on the PS2 that well, and that's why the PS2 version of Sonic Heroes sucks because of that engine.
Right, exactly. And the thing is that talking about engines, it is very important. And the thing is that engines also do have the capability of having different looks. And this is something that I've always tried to talk about, and people always argue with me on Twitter. And maybe I could be more clear here, is that when I say it looks like Unreal, right? Mm-hmm. People turn around and say, well, no, Unreal doesn't have a look to it. Yes and no. There are certain images that Unreal excels at over top of other engines. Could other engines get the same look that Unreal has? Yes, of course. However,
it's a lot of money.
It's a lot more money because the Unreal Engine excels at a certain look. That's why, like you mentioned earlier, I was so impressed with Final Fantasy VII. I was so impressed with Days Gone because those were Unreal games. And you don't really see Unreal play like that. Like, for example, if you look at Spyro, and I hate to say it, it does have a similar palette in some sense to Fortnite. And I know that sounds like I'm saying a sin, but it's not. It's just
you're correct. It's just the art style.
It's an art style that it excels at.
And Unreal does get a bad rap because during the PS3 and 360 era, every game that ran on Unreal almost looked identical. Yeah. Mainly because the artists behind the games that the game ran on just like, oh, it's realistic, so it has to look realistic. So all the models always looked the same, and it always drove me nuts. But you want to know what else drives me nuts? Huh? Let me get my tinfoil hat here. Okay, I got something for you.
Okay,
you want to hear it?
I'm ready.
Okay. Make sure you're ready. So I have a conspiracy theory. Now, it's not. I stole it. It's not mine. I stole it, but I'm saying it's mine. So a coworker of mine, I said it. Me,
myself, and I were having a conversation
at work that I totally go to. There's a conspiracy theory among us. So, Call of Duty. You know how when you play it, it's the entire hard drive, right?
It's the hard drive, yes.
You have that's your Call of Duty machine, right? Okay, so. There's a reason for that. I'm gonna throw some numbers at you. All right. I want you to start telling me what sounds weird. So, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, right? It came out on the PS5. It requires something like 215 gigs of storage, right?
Right.
Okay. So if you go to howlongtobeat.com and you look at Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, it says the total time to beat the campaign is like 5 hours, right?
Right.
And there's like, give or take, maybe 4 to 6 maps in the campaign, right?
Okay.
Okay, so
I think I see where you're going with this, but keep going. Yeah.
Okay. Let me adjust my tinfoil hat real fast. So 2 to, let's say, let's in between 5 maps, around a 5-hour campaign, 216 gigs. Okay. Spider-Man Miles Morales, the entirety of New York, with like maybe a 16-hour campaign if you go for everything, 50 gigs. You picking up what I'm putting down?
I'm picking up.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla, another open world game, with a realistic look to it, more so than Spider-Man. It's gritty. It's super detailed. 50 gigs. Just all of Valhalla, just 50 gigs. No big deal. So, one of the reasons for this is Call of Duty will ship the game with like a .exe file, right? Right. and you pop it in, and that .exe file is like, connect to servers, download textures, download assets, download all of it. And the funny thing is, it's all uncompressed. You remember when Spyro and Reignited was being developed, and it was like, hey, the full game uncompressed is like 2 terabytes?
Yeah, something ridiculous, yeah.
Yeah. So Activision tells their devs, hey, compress Call of Duty, but not a lot, just a little bit. Just a tad bit. Mm-hmm. So, if you're a high schooler or a college guy or a 6-year-old, and you're playing Call of Duty, and you install it on your system, and your friends are like, "Hey, let's play Call of Duty." Okay, cool. You're all playing Call of Duty, but maybe you want to try that new Battlefield game that came out, right? But you can't. You're out of storage space. But wait, you can't delete it because that's almost 300 gigs. And if your friends want to play later, you're the douchebag because you have to re-download 300 gigs to your system, which could take hours, and they're just waiting on you. So Activision is taking a monopoly on your console by having it be the only game you play in that genre.
I don't think that, because I'll put my tinfoil hat on too. It's not that bad of a theory. And
let's tip hats.
Tip hats. Yeah. Honestly, I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, because you do hear about it. People are like, oh man, I play Call of Duty Warzone, and everyone's made a meme about how big Warzone was, but no one's removing it. And every person I talk to, they're like, oh man. So every person I talk to, they're like, oh man, I gotta go buy a new hard drive because Warzone is taking up my entire hard drive. And you know what?
And that's another thing. It's like, man, do I have the money to buy another hard drive? I don't. I guess I just won't buy the new Battlefield.
Yeah, or any other game, to be honest.
Any other game. Because the PS5 is shipping with, 600 gigs of usable storage?
That still makes me vomit. Please don't say that.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's say hypothetically, you buy the Ultimate Edition of Spider-Man. Okay, that's a completely different genre. Activision's not worried about that. If you buy the Ultimate Edition, it's 100 gigs for remastered Spider-Man and Miles. And then you get Call of Duty. That's almost 500 gigs right there.
That's
wow.
That's a large portion of your hard drive. And
Battlefield 6932 5X 342 over 3 days. Hearts came out, right? And it's like, wow, that's 80 gigs? I don't know. And all the updates after that? And Warzone's updating? I don't know if I can make room for this. Oh, well, I'll skip out on it.
You know what? I don't think it's that. And then, of course, the cycle continues where you get home from school and you're like, okay, what game am I going to play? And
you look at your dash and it's just Call of Duty. What do I want to play today?
You know what? That is not so much of a crazy theory, and I'm kind of on the same boat here, man. I'm very doubtful of conspiracy theories and stuff like that. I'm very much like, right. But you know what? You call my brain a baked potato and wrap it in tinfoil because I'm kind of joining you there.
Oh, yeah. All right. I like where this is going.
If you want to join us for tinfoil hats, make sure to follow us over on Twitter. Yeah. Yes, we rant and scream about video games over there as well. You can follow me, Canadian Guy A with the extra H. We are still hunting down the other Canadian Guy A. They are still the imposter and are acting very sus. And then you can go follow Shemp Official as well over on Twitter. Don't forget to follow us both on YouTube as well. We both create content as much as we can. Shemp's a great guy. Shemp helps edit as well. And we create... you just threw me right off. I was on a roll for the outro, and you just had to do that. Threw out my whole group. What was I saying? Anyway,
I don't know.
Never mind. Don't sub to Shemp. Don't
unsubscribe.
Unsubscribe from Shemp. He's a meanie. He's a meanie.
I'm crying.
Anyway,
Oh my God, I'm crying.
Threw me right up. So anyway, we are everywhere. We are on Spotify. We're on everywhere that you can listen to podcasts. Again, thank you so much for tuning in today. We are still waiting for the carrier pigeons. They still haven't arrived. We're waiting for any second for them to show up. I'm sure.
And if you know anyone who wants to sponsor us and give a WumpaTime segue so we can make segues more accessible,
please
let us know. Please. And if you like Shem's Conspiracy Theory Hour, let me know. And we'll make it just a bit. It's gonna be a WumpaTime bit. Know what I'm saying?
Shem's Conspiracies is just Shemp with a tinfoil hat on. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for listening in, and we'll see you guys in the next podcast, video, or live stream. Bye-bye.
Bye.